Wait, what? Functionality and making your life easier, but still look like a bad bitch. So if you put a pair of boots on, you a bad bitch. One more time, hi. What's good? My name is Duckworth, and I'm here with Notion. What are the moments that define your music journey coming up? Ooh, okay, tight. So 2 pivotal moments. I come from a gospel musical family, so there's always music around. I've been trying to do like math homework in there, like having full band practice in the living room. That's how I kind of gained the ear. And I was in like choir when I was like 5 years old. I didn't have a low enough tone to be a tenor. I had to be a alto, which is fun. When I was in high school, I kind of started getting more into punk music because this girl I was in love with would come to school with these punk shirts. I would secretly go home and research what the bands were she was wearing, and that got me into punk music. What's one song on the album that completely changed your perspective on music? It's this one song by Outkast, Spotioti, Doublelicious Angel. The tune is popular. It goes that being like the main melody and main vein. It also let me know like it don't always have to be about words. I think it could be more about melody. It's kind of like poetry as well. Usually my memory of music was always like a bit structured, but the lack of structure and creativity in that song just made me want to venture out and do more creative things. Tell us about your latest single, Had Enough. What's the story behind it? Tight. All right, cool. So my song, Had Enough. I've been working on this album for 2 years. I can't say the name right now. I'm keeping it secret because it's really good. But on that album, I cover these different topics. I talk about fear that causes issues in relationships, fear of commitment, ghosting, gaslighting, infidelity, my issues I've had with commitment from watching my parents' relationships, specifically my dad cheat on my mom, and how that affected me and how I dealt with relationships. And one of the catalysts of me making terrible decisions was my addiction to alcohol. So Had Enough is pretty much saying like, you don't know when to call it quits and say that you've had enough. Mind you, it's on a very funky beat. It's very groovy and it's very danceable, but we all know that the best way to get a message through is to put a nice beat behind it. A lot of your art takes cues from house music. If you could have anyone remix one of your songs, who would it be and why? Funny enough, I think they just did a song together. Somebody would just take my acapella from one of my songs. If Tame Impala and Justice and K Tronada was working on a remix project and they used Had Enough vocals and they all came together. Cause I like how K Tronada swings his drums and it makes it very funky, you know? I like Tame Impala for their crazy psychedelic soundscape, and I just like Justice cause it just reminds me of like drugs. I think if all of them in their own ways of like house music came together and remixed one of my songs, that'd be great. I know that's cheat code, because I said 3 different artists, but smart world anyway, so fuck it. What's your favorite genre to experiment with in the studio at the moment? I love that y'all asked that. I feel like in my career, I haven't been able to touch on a certain genre that is what I listen to every day, that has created my identity, has created the way I like navigate through life in a very radical way, and it is punk music, radical, alternative, rock. More specifically on this album, I'm playing in the realms of like alternative rock, punk sensibility. I'm always listening to punk music, whether that be Iggy Pop and the Stooges, Bad Brains, Sex Pistols, Casualties, Buzzcocks. What I mainly been listening to, I've been listening to a lot of late 70s punk bands like The Jam, The Moderns, 999. So a lot of that type of music has inspired what I'm creating for this album. Who is on your playlist rotation currently? Depends on what playlist. Depends on what I'm doing in the day, you know? Because, you know, 12 p.m. playlist is different from like 12 a.m. playlist, if you get my drift. Maybe we'll talk about like a midday, like 6 p.m. playlist. On the drive home, I have McGee. I probably have either Riley and I or I Want. I have NERD, The Way She Dances. I have Minnie Riperton, more Tame Impala, Breathe Deeper. Channel Trace, what song would I be playing from Channel? I gotta give a shout out to the homie, Sweat. Just to pick it up too, because when the traffic kind of clears, the traffic is terrible, I'm lying. Traffic at 6 p.m. in LA is atrocious. But those little moments when it opens up, yeah, K Tronada, Channel, Sweat. Question number 7, if you could wear one outfit for the rest of your life, what would it be? I've been looking at a lot of old like Apple talks and just studying like Steve Jobs, and he did the whole black turtleneck dad jeans and like New Balances. And at first I was like, no, bro, like this is atrocious. But the reason why he wore that uniform every day is because he said, I want to spend less time about what I'm wearing and more about what I'm doing. And I was like, okay, that's tight. Now for me, I want to find an intersection between like user friendliness, functionality, and making your life easier, but still look like a bad bitch. What I usually have I've been wearing a lot is like long sleeve or short sleeve, kind of like of a ribbed jersey, but something that's a little bit slimmer on the top. And then I'll do some nice cargo pants like wide leg, or I'll do some jeans as wide leg. And a boot, a good pair of either cowboy boots, maybe these type of boots. That's the bad bitch seasoning. Like you can literally have like a hoodie and some sweats. If you put a pair of boots on, you're a bad bitch. Where in the world haven't you performed that you love to in the future? Wonderful question. I had 3 dates for South Africa. 2 of them happened during COVID, and 1 of them happened after, and they all got canceled. These are things that I wake up angry about every day. I'm lying, but I am quite angry about these. So I would love to perform in South Africa. I would love to perform anywhere in Africa. And I would love to perform in Brazil. I think these are very important, especially me being a black man, a man of color, and I haven't hit these places. It is atrocious. What's next for you this year? This year's about to end. This is not a nice question. This year's done. All right, so for this year, I think I'm gonna drop a song in November for this album I'm working on. And I think I may drop like a content piece in December. But pretty much the rest of this year is gearing up for next year because I'm dropping this album and I'm about to announce a tour for it, and I'm dropping my first high-end garment brand, one of them being boots. How lovely. But other than that, it's November, so I'm gonna be with family. I'm not gonna be concerned about any of y'all. I'm going to be home, eating all the food with my feet up, shamelessly watching something on Netflix. Actually, no Netflix, because they kicked me out because I use my sister's Netflix. Anyway, I hope that answered all the questions. Tight.